I have a 2003 Seadoo GTI and headed out at the lake this weekend, and next thing I know it's taking on water. To make a long story short, we got it home. I read some message threads, and what I learned was the best thing to do with the water plugs in was to fill the hole with water. So I filled the hole with water up to right around in there, right at the plugs. Went to the back of the machine, and I had water pouring out of the exhaust, which right now I've got duct tape on it, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it was pouring out of the exhaust. So I knew that I had a leak somewhere in the exhaust line, which it starts here on top of the engine, goes around into this big canister down here. I don't know if you can see, but out of the canister there's this aluminum piece that branches off into two different places. One of these hose goes over into this piece, which I don't know if that's called a baffle or what it is, but there's two pieces here, and there's a little rubber strap here that holds it in at the front, and then there's a couple of these rubber straps that hold the two pieces together. What I found is you can't reinstall this with both pieces together. You have to put them in separately, and the reason that makes it difficult is because in the back here there is a hose that connects these two pieces together, and turns out the reason I was leaking was because the hose back that's holding these together, as well as the hose that comes out of the bottom one and goes into the exhaust port, someone had apparently put Permatex or something and didn't tighten the clamp nuts down tight enough, and I had leaking as a result. So I've tried troubleshooting a couple of different ways. At this point I've had everything off. This one here I had a lot of difficulty in the fact that every time I kept trying to tighten the clamp, it was pulling it back off of the plastic. So I had to let that Permatex get really good and dry before I tightened this clamp down. But at this point I've had these two pieces out, and I've had the clamps removed from the exhaust port, as well as the clamp that holds these two pieces together. So I've had it out, I've cleaned it all, put it back in. One test that I just performed is this particular hose hooks into a piece that looks like this that you're going to find on the side of the machine. And when this piece hooks into there, if I can get this undone. Anyway, when that hose hooks into this, the system is completely sealed. So what I've done now is I've taken this off, which is something in the future I will do at the beginning. I've taken this off and I've pulled it up above the other pipe, and I put a hose pipe in there and let it fill, so it could completely fill this canister, fill all the baffles, whatever those are, so I could visibly look down in here and see if it's leaking. So at this point, without having to go to the lake and without filling my hole back up, just pulling this one above the line that's hooking into all this plastic, all the way up as far as you can get it. I put a brace up in there to hold it. But just run water through there. And the reason that I have the duct tape on the exhaust pipe is to restrict the water from being able to come out, so that I could see if it was leaking on the inside of the ski. So at this point, I've ran water through there and confirmed that I no longer have leaks in the back. Hopefully I'm going to get it all buttoned up, take it to the lake, and it's all going to be good. Hope this helps somebody in the future.